Your Honor, if you're speaking to us,
All right, this is called number 2020-48486 in the interest of Aubrey Jade Arende. All parties and witnesses, please raise your right hands to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
I do.
All right, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
My name is Naomi Orende, and I'm her mother.
All right, sir, your name and your relationship to the child.
My name is David Rose. I'm the father.
All right, for the state,
Angela Jeffries for the Office of the Attorney General.
we've got an original petition and a suit affecting parent-child relationship. We're having a hearing. Final hearing. Do we have any stipulations?
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
All right, let's read those into the record.
Yes, Your Honor. The parties have agreed to joint manage a conservatorship with a geographical restriction to Harris and contiguous counties. Parties have agreed to a standard possession order. Mr. George has elected to decline the expanded possession order at this time. Parties have agreed to enter a child support judgment in the amount of $17,352 as of September 28th of 2021, that he will pay that back in the amount of $110 beginning October 2021. Parties have also agreed to a medical support judgment in the amount of $141 as of September 28th of 2021, and that Mr. George will pay that back at that amount at a rate of $10 per month beginning October 1st of 2021. Under the standard possession order, the parties have agreed that pickup and drop off shall be at 2003 Texas Street, Baytown, Texas 77520. Parties have agreed that the new child support amount shall be $405 beginning October 1st of 2021, that the medical support should be $75 beginning October 1st of 2021, that Mr. George will pay the court costs as billed on this case. No further stipulations, Your Honor.
All right, is that your agreement so far, Mr. George?
Yes, sir.
Is that your agreement so far, Ms. Arende?
Yes.
All right, and so what are the issues now?
The issue is the non-disclosure of Mr. Derek George's address going forward.
Non-disclosure of whose address?
The non-custodial parent, Mr. Derek George.
Okay, all right. All right, let's move forward.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Derek George, Mr. George. Do you believe that your address should be disclosed in the order going forward, sir?
And that it should not be disclosed?
Correct.
Yes, I do not want my address disclosed.
Okay. Do you believe that if Ms. Orende had your address, it would cause you harm, harassment, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In the past, when Ms. Orende had your address, did you suffer any harm or harassment with her having your address?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What was an example of harm or harassment that you suffered recently?
Okay. She was pulling up to the apartment that I was staying in. I guess just kind of because I wasn't answering. She was trying to come over. I didn't want her. I was not trying. I was on a date with my girlfriend, my current one, and I guess she, I wasn't allowed. Anyway, so basically she pulled up. So I left. She blocked me in with her vehicle, and I was able to drive out. And then when I did, I left. I went ahead and drove on to Galveston, and she went into my house, let herself in. She threw my projector. She destroyed things in my home, and then took my girl. She stole some of my current girlfriend's purse, threw her clothes all in the front yard. This is also the reason I got evicted from that apartment complex. Because all that grief, the landlord came seeing all that property, called me while I was out saying that, hey, your door's open, your stuff is dragged, there's clothes all in the front yard. What is this? Well, that was the reason I got evicted from that. And I just don't want to.
I'm sorry. When was that incident that you're referring to?
That was right when COVID started. Like I to that before I stopped talking to Naomi. I came when COVID started. I was worried about her and my daughter. I asked her to come stay with me. She stayed with me for a month. That's how she had my door code. So when we had separated, you know, and it was a couple of months later, right after COVID. So I don't remember exactly when the COVID shutdown came into place, but it was 3 months after that, 2.5, 3 months after.
Okay. And is there any other reason that the court should be made aware why you feel like your address should not be disclosed going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's been times she's threatened, you know, like saying, she said, you know, she's on social media, got contacted my current girlfriend and said, well, you know why he doesn't let me get your address? 'Cause I come whoop your ass. She's also threatened to have her friends, boyfriends, or homeboys come over and act right if we don't agree. Me and her don't agree to something, you know, uh, just things like that. Just stuff that I don't need, man. It's my place of peace, and I'd like it to remain that way.
Okay. And so you believe it's in the best interest of the child today that your address not be disclosed?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And with the incident that you mentioned where she tore up stuff in your house, did you physically see her do that?
Yes, I physically seen her go in my house. I went ahead and just said, okay, I'm gonna lose that stuff. And also my landlord, like I said, showed up as it was going on. My roommate next to him. But yes, I seen her go in. It was her.
I have nothing further for this witness, Sean. I pass the witness.
So Arunday, do you have any questions of Mr. George?
No, sir, I don't.
All right.
The
Party
state calls
dismissed.
the state calls Naomi Orenday. Ms. Orenday, do you believe that Mr. George's address should be disclosed in this order today going forward, ma'am?
That it should? No, I don't believe it should. I believe I should know where my daughter's going.
Okay. And is it any truth to his testimony that you showed up to his house unannounced and you destroyed things in his house?
Yes, it was mutual between both of us. We would go back and forth to each other's house, and he's kicked in my door 2 or 3 times and done some damage to my home and to myself as well. I have like police reports from different cities stating that we've gotten to physical altercations with each other. But I put that all behind me because, Aubrey needs to go over there. So I would just like to know where she's going because I've had a problem with it this last time that she went over. It was time for her to come back home already, and he was hanging up on me and he wasn't answering me. So,
Okay. So
I found out she got, sorry?
I'm sorry, I didn't know that you were not finished.
Oh, okay. And then I found out that she had got into a car wreck and he didn't let me know. Yes. And then he just kept hanging up on me while I was trying to get her back home. So yeah, that's the reason that I would like to know his address.
Okay. And the incident where you couldn't get her back, was that since the temp order was drafted? Is that correct? Or when?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And
yes, that was that was this month.
Okay. And did he give you a reason for why he was hanging up on you or why he was not returning the child?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so my mother had got a migraine, so it was his weekend, so I asked him come pick her up, and maybe you can keep her a couple extra days so that my mom can feel better from her migraine. Well, she ended up getting COVID, and she went to the hospital. So Aubrey stayed over there. Meanwhile, while my mom was at the hospital, well, once my mom came back and she was fine and everyone was cleared, I told him that everything was clear and that it was okay for my daughter to come home. And my daughter had been crying and telling me that she had wanted to come home, but I was telling her to wait. So when I told him that everything was clear, it was good for her to come back, he refused to. He said that, he wanted to give it a couple more days, and he would just hang up on me and was really rude about it. So that's the whole reason that I just.
Okay. So you believe it's in the best interest of the child that going forward, you should have his address?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And is there any truth to his testimony that you threatened his girlfriend once you found out the address of where she lived?
No.
Okay.
And I don't have homeboys or friends or boys or friends that will go over there, so I don't know what he's talking about.
Probably provide.
Just a minute, sir.
And lastly, you said that he's shown up to your house unannounced as well, but you're not asking for your address to not be disclosed right now. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. He knows where I live currently, and if I move, then I don't mind him knowing my address so he can know where his daughter's at.
Okay. I have nothing further for this witness, Your Honor. I would like to follow up with Mr. George about one question.
Wait a minute. Mr. George, do you have any questions for Miss Arende?
No, I just,
Well, I'm going to let you say something later, but right now you have an opportunity to ask her a question if you want to. You don't have to, but do you have any questions for her?
no, I think enough has been.
All right, Ms. Jeffries.
Can I follow up? Can I recall Mr. George, Your Honor? I just want to ask one more. Mr. George, when Ms. Orende mentioned that you did not return the child during a recent visit, can you explain to the court why you did not return the child when she requested you to return the child?
I sure can. And also I called her every night, make sure my daughter called her every night. And yes, my daughter did miss it and want to go home. But the situation was about my daughter's safety. It was 1 week and it wasn't a weekend, it was like a Tuesday or so. She had kept her the weekend, didn't let her get her. And then that Monday, she's like, you know what, you want to pick her up? And I said, yeah, absolutely. She goes, my mom's got a migraine, I pick her up. And then so a couple of days later, her mom comes down with COVID. Now, 1 weekend, her mom just left the hospital and supposedly, allegedly, already back and they after 1 week from testing positive. 2 days before that, I got a text message saying my brother just left to the hospital. 2 days before to go, her brother just went to the hospital for COVID as well. Can't breathe, going to ICU or whatever, wherever he went to the hospital. So it was still current in the home. You know what I mean? I told her, hey, let's give it 2 weeks and let you know. And as soon as possible, my daughter misses her mom. That's where she stays all the time. I'm feeling for her too. She wants to go home. You know, it wasn't to keep her from it. It was about her protecting her safety. My Naomi was like, hey, you know, I'm going through a lot. I need my daughter. I'm thinking, well, what about if she's the next person you're taking to the hospital that can't breathe? I said, we have to give it a week. She's only been with me 1 week. COVID takes 2 weeks. And 3 days ago, your brother went just now with the COVID. They caught it retracted later. So that should have been 2 weeks from that period. But I didn't want to continue holding her for a whole 3 weeks. I felt bad, you know, and my daughter wanted to be home. So it wasn't like that. It was in the consideration of my daughter's safety, her best interest. That was it. And I had her call every night. And hanging up is because she gets a little irrational. So I'm not going to just take all that info in. I just pick up her call later on.
I have nothing further for this witness, Your Honor. I'll pass the witness.
You have any questions for Mr. George, Miss Orende?
No, sir, I don't.
All right. You understand, Miss Orende, if he doesn't bring the child home when ordered, that you could file contempt action against him and the judge could put him in jail for not following the orders. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. Non-disclosure of non-custodial parents' addresses granted